Welcome back to the Crypto Andrew channel. Let's look and see what is going on right now with Bitcoin. I will say Bitcoin is free falling. So that's not fantastic, right? That sucks. My Bitcoin bot did just buy more, but let's go over to Bitcoin, see what's going on. This is brutal. This does not look like a bull market. I don't think it's over, right? We can go look at the crypto fear and greed index, and we can still see that we're still in greed though. That scares me. I mean, the fact that we're still in greed after this dump. Hopefully, this updates tonight. Um, if not, that could be kind of ugly. I will say that we're below key moving averages. The 200-day moving average, this thin yellow line, that's not fantastic, right? But let me start on the daily time frame and work our way down. So clearly, this flag that I had up here, that didn't play out. It was just an idea. But yeah, it didn't play out, and it's not looking great right now for the price is doing. And your next support that I really see for Bitcoin would be 116.5. 118.5 was strong weekly support. We did not hold that level. And at this point, it looks pretty bad. You have to understand, look how fast we went up. Usually when that happens, you come down pretty fast as well. Touching the 21 now on the daily, that's at least the start of a good sign. So I would be surprised if we really go much lower than 116.5. I did just try to long the bottom at 117.4, and then I got taken out. I will show you that in a second. Daily time frame still has a little more downside to the stock RSI, and the money flow is coming to the downside. So I still see at least 116.5 coming, but anything below that would surprise me a little bit. You got the 12-hour time frame oversold. I think at some point these smaller time frames like the 8-hour, like the 4-hour time frame need to bounce. I will say that's definitely obviously now around the top. That's very bearish. And now you could again expect it to come down to 116.5. Like I'm not saying we don't go lower than 116.5, but I think at 116.5 you get some kind of bounce, even if it's only for a day or something. That would be some good support at $116,500. Then your next support below that is $114,300, and then below that you're really looking at $110,800. So it these time frames don't look good. The 2-hour time frame to try to get a bounce, it was lackluster and it rolled over. 1-hour time frame it was just bad. That made a lower high there, and you rolled over. And in fact, that's a bear flag that played out. And you're now below the 200-day moving average. You're below the 200-day smooth moving average for Bitcoin. The 33-minute looks awful. So Bitcoin lost the 1-hour 200. You just lost a 200-day moving average on the 2-hour time frame. Anytime that happens, the next target I would be looking for would be the 3-hour, which is at 116.8. Below that, you're looking at the 4-hour, which is at 115.9. So, the more I look at this, the more bearish I am, and I still think you need to get a bounce on the 4-hour time frame, but you're not going to do that till you find support. If you come over here to Bookmap, this shows you where there's all the liquidity at on Bitcoin, and you still see a lot down here at 115. So actually, at the end of the day, I don't see us really getting a crazy bounce at 116.5. We might get something, but I still see eventually Bitcoin going down to about 115. That is what I see going on for Bitcoin. So we'll see. It doesn't look great to me. It really doesn't. Going down to the 15-minute time frame, like I can't really say that's a bear flag, but that's not like a falling wedge. That's going down too fast to be a falling wedge. At some point, you need to retouch this 21 at 119. So I do see a bounce coming later today. But like in the next week or so, if we go down to 114.5, it wouldn't surprise me. I like that would be if you lose 116.5, your next target's 114.4, 114.5. So that would be my most bearish target for the next 7 days. But I could be wrong. We'll see. I mean, that's only $3,000 lower, but you have to understand. Look how far we've come down. So at some point, you have to slow down. It just makes sense. So that's my update for Bitcoin. I will say it doesn't look lovely. And then if I jump down I took this trade on the 10-minute time frame, trying to get this bounce off this low here. Put my stop at 117.4, and at this point, obviously now you're $200 below that, $100 below that. So we'll see what happens. It doesn't look lovely. I mean, you could say that I was trying to catch a falling knife, but it was low risk, and my take profit could have been, the resistance at 121. So you know what? I lost $40 doing it. I would have made over $400 if it won. So I can't worry too much about it. It was a small trade anyway. But that's kind of my update, guys, on Bitcoin. I think at some point we are going to get a bounce on the 4-hour time frame, but it is the weekend as well, so the bounce on Bitcoin might not come until the weekend is over. So just be cautious. I see at some point the 4-hour time frame getting overbought. and getting the bounce, but that could still mean a lower high. And now, unless the 4-hour time frame makes a new all-time high, that's a lower high for Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame, because that's the last time we were overbought, which is quite crazy because that was now 4 days ago. So I will say Bitcoin at this point needs a bounce desperately, especially the 4-hour time frame is eating and hungry for a bounce, but I don't see how we get back to the 126,000. That'd be an insane 4-hour candle. At this point, we'd probably be lucky to breach the resistance at 122.9, and I would say there's even resistance, but now that we've dumped so much, I would say that, I would say that's going to be resistance there at 120,000. It's just Bitcoin right now, I would say, has resistance at 120 and then about 123,000. And then some at 118.5, like I said. But I would be most worried about short term, the resistance at 120, and then to the downside, if we keep going down, your next support I see is about 116.6. That's my update for Bitcoin right now, guys. I'm more bearish than bullish, but I do think sometime this weekend or early Monday, the 4 time frame is going to bounce at some point. I've just seen charts like this too much to see that doesn't happen, but even you could do something like this. Didn't mean to move that. You could do something like this. You continue down to the support, then you kind of go sideways, and then you roll over further. And this gets overbought when you're up here, and then you roll over, and your lower high is 120,000 or something like that. We'll see what happens. I gotta say the trends obviously at this point to the downside on Bitcoin. You're still above the 4-hour 200, but at this point, guys, it looks likely that we're going to touch that, if not lose it. So I am more bearish than bullish. That's a bearish engulfing candle on the 3-hour time frame. No bueno. You tried to hold this level for a few hours, a day or two, and you lost it quickly. So, guys, I'm bearish. This looks atrocious, and I don't think 116.6 is going to be much support, because when you came up, that wasn't any resistance. The next real support I see, guys, is about 114.4. So at this point, after doing everything I just did, I would be surprised if we don't touch 115, where there's a lot of liquidity, and then, if we go a little below that to 114.4, that's my target. So my first target to the downside is 115.5. If we get the bounce, my first target to the upside for resistance is 120. That's my update, guys, on Bitcoin. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe, share this video with your friends. Make sure you hit the bell notification so you get notified every time I post a video. If you guys have requests for altcoins, you can let me know in the comment section below. But with that being said, guys, that's my update. Bitcoin looks bad, and I will leave it at that. Goodbye. Adios. Have a good weekend, by the way, as well. It is the weekend, so less volume during the weekend as well. So, I'm not saying trade it. I'm actually not in any positions right now. So that's not financial advice. That's just what I see going on in the market.